Good afternoon, everyone. I have finally calmed down. I had to channel some Karen energy at the T-Mobile store just now. It wasn't just the way that, the people were acting. I feel like I spoke to so many different people, asked the same questions, and have been told so many different things. I just really feel like it is a situation where people do not know how to communicate with one another without some type of gaslighting, some type of mental manipulation. When you go into these stores, I feel like everyone is always trying to figure out one way or another how to get over on the next person. And I don't know if it's just because of where I am with my spirituality. I just feel certain things from people, and it's so strong that I do not know how to react other than to react. And lately, it could go one of two ways. It could either be we stay peaceful or we don't. So that brings me to why I wanted to actually talk about it. And I have my sons with me in the store. And that was the first time they ever really saw me get out of pocket. I'm normally a very peaceful person, extremely peaceful. Like I don't have it in me to go back and forth and to argue with people, or even anymore. I've just gotten to such a peaceful place in myself that nothing is worth my argument. Nothing is worth me having to go back and forth with a person, especially if it's unnecessary. That's true for most of the time. But when there's certain things that people present to you, that's just, it's not acceptable. There's certain things nowadays that's not acceptable. If somebody says something that is offensive to you, for whatever reason, you have to honor yourself and you have to speak up and say something about it, because that is how you level up. And I say that because it's been something in my spirit lately that I've felt like I identified in myself, something that needed healing, which was my feeling as though my voice must not matter, because just not having that drive in me that feels that I need defending. Let me get back to the subject. So my kids being with me was very important, because I feel like as moms, we don't really show our children how we're supposed to be treated. Number one, I'm not a single mom. I'm a parent that's single. But being a mom of boys, I feel like especially it's important for me to be as authentic as I can, because they need to know what, a woman really behaves like, acts like, what they should look for in a woman when they get older. My sons are 16 and 10, and I think about those things now, because we're raising individuals. We're not only raising our children, we're raising someone's husband one day. We're raising someone's father one day. So I think about that now, because I try to look into their futures to see what it may, or not even see, but just empathize, just look into their future to see what I can do now to make sure that they come out as decent individuals. That is at the very least what I need them to be, is decent individuals. That's the very least. So I'm a person who believes in under promise, over deliver. So at the very least, they will be decent young men. They will be polite young men. They will be open to emotion, comfortable with emotion. So when I realized that I had been giving them a picture of what a woman is not, it was when I had my shoulder surgery last year, 2019. I had a car accident in January, and then I had shoulder surgery in April. So it was a very big year for physical healing. I didn't realize until the surgery. I mean, the car accident was bad, but I didn't suffer any injuries that caused me pain that I wasn't familiar with already. It was additional to what I was already dealing with. Yes, it was bad, but when you have chronic pain, you learn ways of managing your way through it. It doesn't make it hurt any less, but you just learn ways to cope with it eventually. I know there's a lot of people that I am friends with and that I know that have, issues with pain, and I definitely don't want to say that to sound like I'm minimizing anyone's pain, but my experience has just been that along my journey of healing my emotional pain and my mental pain, my physical pain became way easier to manage. But that's another video for another day. When I realized that my boys were, my watch is telling me to breathe. When I realized that my boys weren't really seeing me the way that I actually was when I had my shoulder surgery, and I just really couldn't hide it from them. They saw me in a very vulnerable place that I realized I'd never seen them before, because I'd always been super mom before that, doing everything for them. I did everything that mom should do and then some. The reason why that wasn't really good was because that paints a picture that women are not, I guess vulnerable is the only word that really comes to mind, but we don't show them how we really hurt, because we're the ones that are always doing everything and solving all the problems, and we're just, especially for boys, moms with sons, I think you guys can understand where I'm coming from with this. Like, little boys think their moms are superheroes. We do everything, we don't feel anything ever, especially we don't feel anything ever, like ever. Oh, you're sick, you be all right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's the way that they see us, but it's very easy for them to not see our weaknesses as women and as humans. It's not even just as women, but as humans, we all have times where we're down and we're not able to be super mom, and we're not able to be super anybody. We just need a minute, you know what I mean? Or more than a minute. Like, there's some times where there'll be a week where I just need it. You just got to give me what I need, you know what I mean? But as moms, we don't get that. We don't get the week. We don't get the day off. We don't get the 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? But when you start setting boundaries with your children, your time does not always equal their time. It sounds like a terrible thing to say, of course, because of the way that society makes us feel about spending time with ourselves and needing time for ourselves. You cannot take care of your children if you are not okay. And I actually was having a conversation earlier today where for several years out of my life, I went to therapy. And one of the things that my therapist would always tell me was that I was such a good mom. And I really appreciated that from her, because you need to hear these good things, especially when you don't have a high self-esteem. If you don't have much self-esteem, which at that time I didn't, hearing things like that are important, because it gives you something to keep going for. But she would always tell me about how great of a mom I was, but she always would point out to me that some of the ways that I would think about things, I really should reconsider, because and at that time, I was really living for my children. I was not living for myself. I was living for them, specifically for them. And they were the motivation of my life. Like, I didn't love life in general. I loved my kids, and I didn't want my kids to be without their mother, because I wanted them to have the best life. And that was what drove me. And it's sad to say, but it is the honest truth. It really is. That's what drove me. Therapy. And she said to me, sorry, I'm trying to find something. She said to me, and I'm pretty sure that some people have heard this before, but it was my first time ever hearing it. She asked me if I was on an airplane, and if the plane was going down and they deployed one mask and you were on the plane with your child, do you give yourself the mask first, or do you give your child the mask first? And I didn't even have to think about it. I'm like, I'll give it to my child. And she's like, if you give it to your child, then you're gonna die first. And then your child's gonna die. So if you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to be able to take care of your child. So I was like, okay. I see what you did there. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, it clicked, it made sense. And ever since then, it took me a very long time. Even after that, it took me a very, very long time to actually be able to change my whole mindset about it. And until I had my shoulder surgery, that was when they really was able to see that I am human, that I have feelings, that they need to be more empathetic towards me. And after that point, when I tell you, I do not even have to yell at my children. My boys they're so amazing. They are so amazing. They help me. My oldest son is amazing with my younger son. And it has been such a transformation, a complete transformation in them. And I thank God every day for that. And I thank God for them. But the message here is that we cannot be afraid to let our kids see the sides of us that aren't always pleasant. We have to become comfortable with being ourselves around everyone. We have to really let our authenticity shine, and we have to honor it. We have to honor who we are. We have to tell the truth to ourselves first and foremost. It has to be a practice. It has to be something that we do every day.